from Team Liquid. Game 1 of the group stage, picks and bans, is underway, and straight out the gate, KT Rolster are taking away the Scion. Kobe, what else should we anticipate and expect as we go forward?
I do think that's a smart from KT Rolster to target Impact in the top lane and take away some of the extremely strong tanks that have been universally picked here, because KT Rolster, as we said, do have the possibility of showing new things. You said we've only seen one best of 5 in 2 months from this team. So we're hoping that maybe we'll see some interesting top lane counter picks. There have been some adjustments to Fiora, Darius, things like that. And if they can whittle down Impact's champion pool a little bit, they could try and take advantage of that matchup.
And of course, we know Smeb can absolutely play into that style, and whether or not Impact's going to be willing to throw down the gauntlet. Red side here for Team Liquid have some counter pick options and some play-in favorites that we saw a lot of. The Tom Kent, the Alistar, they're banned away, as well as now the Olaf, taking that off the table from KT.
And that is pretty big here, because Team Liquid and Smithy have been able to use Olaf for a lot of early game control. That's going to be one area that they do look to attack. Meanwhile, from Team Liquid side, taking away the Alistar, banning it from Mata, is almost to me like a legacy ban against him, regardless of how good Alistar is in the meta right now. Doublelift has personal history with Mata at Worlds. In 2016, Mata was the one, they were both on different teams, to destroy him with Alistar engages over and over again. And Doublelift said afterwards in the interview that he hadn't even thought that a player would be crazy enough to pull off those plays against him. And that ban coming through, I think, will give him a bit more security, a bit more ease of mind.
A little bit of breathing room, but Kobe, it means that Urgot, that Aatrox are still up and available. First pick, KT Rolster have locked in the Xayah, and the response from TL so far, Urgot.
I like this interesting first pick from KT Rolster because there are so many high priority champions left up. They're kind of threatening the Xayah Rakan combo without having to commit too much to it so early here. And it's a little bit, you have to feel like that's a bait. Because they left open the possibility of Team Liquid splitting it up, and Team Liquid have done so. They've gone for Urgot, as you said, which has been, you know, especially considering play-ins, risen to almost #1 champion in League of Legends at the moment as far as playing for the top side.
If it was a bait, thrown out, going fishing, a Thresh locked in for Mata.
Now the question is,
so exciting.
Will he use his Samsung White skin, the skin that he got for winning the World Championship and the skin that he got MVP of the World Championship on?
Well, Papa Smithy was talking about it in the World's Top 20, and Mata went on the record to say that he did not feel he was playing to the level of his skinned former self. If it is locked in for this game, maybe that's a confidence message being sent to the rest of the field here. Aatrox Thresh locked in. Kai'Sa is secured for Doublelift. We're entering phase 2. Which lanes will be targeted?
Well, it looks like so far we have gone according to plan for both teams here, Trevor. KT have decided to take the more carry-oriented half of splitting the Urgot Aatrox deal, whereas Team Liquid, we talked about it, they want that late game carry for Doublelift. The Kai'Sa locked in early before the second ban phase was very important. Meanwhile, the Urgot has been very, very good for helping players in the lane phase if that's not a strong area. And yes, Urgot can go mid lane as well, but I kind of expect that to go to Impact up on the top side. As you said though, looking forward, we're banning out some of the solo lanes here, trying to target Yukal there with the Taliyah. He's been extremely proficient on it. Meanwhile, jungle bans have not been locked in, so they're still coming through.
Right, if you were to decide what direction will the jungle go, you know, Skarner's off the table, Taliyah's off the table. Just trying to think of some of the other picks that I've seen recently. I mean,
Nocturne is still available.
Kindred's up, Nocturne's up. What direction do these teams think based on the picks we've already seen?
Well, Kindred's definitely super high priority right now, but again, if they're leaving it up all the way till the last round phase here, you got to feel like they're going to try some sort of super hard engage onto him, because that would leave a little bit squishy here as far as the overall team composition. But Kindred definitely very high priority right now, and one of those offensive junglers that people have been looking towards. Gragas is one of the ones where you look to counter a Kindred, so maybe they were leaving that one up. Gragas, you go in with the body slam flash, you have the barrel with your ultimate to try and knock people off of Kindred ultimates.
And arguably one of Xsmithy's most comfortable picks as well. Many, many years of experience on that champion. 8 seconds left. There's a Kindred hover. There's a bit of counter synergy going into that Gragas.
A lot of people want to see score on Kindred, and ye are going to get it. Now, he can use the early range advantage. You get a red buff first, then try and control scuttled crabs with this champion. As we said, KT Rolster want to use strong laning performers with strong laning matchups to allow their jungler to control the game.
Yep.
What better jungle champion than one that stacks up marks over the course of the game where they have control, of the neutral territory. So that looks to be the way that KT are going to try and open up World's group stage.
Oh, Kobe, KT Rolster have got themselves a very, very strong early game. Team Liquid round out the composition with the Rise. So let's look at these two comps. We've already touched on the fact that KT Rolster have got those strong lanes, both top, middle, and arguably bottom as well, especially into the Kai'Sa. So what Team Liquid are going to have to do, pay attention to make sure they don't get rolled over in the first 15 minutes.
It is going to have to be score tracking for the early stages here. It's good for Team Liquid that they did get Poe Belter this Rise as far as his matchup here versus Yukao on the Syndra in the mid lane. But he's going to have to be very careful, about stuns landing early on and about any sort of jungle mid tandem action.
Oh, very tough stuff. As of course you mentioned that Rise, 4-0 is Poe Belter in the summer split. Let's see if he can help pick up a win here as the coaches are about to shake hands for the first game of World's Groups.
All right. There it is, quick shot.
As Costa Jun said, welcome to Summoner's Rift. It's KT Rolster taking on Team Liquid. And this is going to start to answer some questions, start to see how the boot camp has helped all of the respective teams. And more importantly, on the side of KT Rolster, can they start to deliver on years and years of hype, years and years of failing to deliver when it mattered most? They just won their first title in the LCK, and they're on the world's stage with something to prove, Kobe.
And nobody knows that better than Score himself, one of the founding members, been on KT Rolster for upwards of 6 years, working towards this moment where they face off versus North America's greatest team, the #1 seed, Team Liquid.
Well, there we go. We're finally on to Summoner's Rift. Welcome to World's Groups, ladies and gentlemen. We'll jump back into the screen in a moment. And of course, there's a lot of history on the KT Rolster side. And if you look at the players of Team Liquid, a lot of individual history, but both of these teams were built in their respective regions as quote-unquote super teams. They were built to win championships. They were built to be competitive on the world stage. And we're seeing it now, maybe, really, for the first time in their organization's history.
This is an amazing first game matchup to have because KT Rolster, after last year not making the World Championship, decided to stick together. Each of these players is an all-star player that could have made much more money by selling out and spreading out across the world. But they decided to stick together on KT Rolster to win the World Championship, to raise the Summoner's Cup. Uh-oh, Doublelift is getting close to a brush that has people in it.
He's been caught up by the Flay, takes a lot of damage from Mata and from Dev, dropping very, very low. Ole's come in, and Doublelift already used that flash. So Summoner spell blown. If the laning phase wasn't difficult enough, this just complicates the matter.
And Deft is having fun already. Gets the laugh at Doublelift, and you can see there, he just moved the minions, grouped them up a little bit to try and get the lane pushing away from Doublelift. He knows he has the health lead in lane, so he groups them up just ever so slightly to get them to try and focus fire and deny minions to Team Liquid.
And of course, Doublelift already used this consumable, sticking around in lane. Score is making a drive-by.
Exactly what we said, trying to have the game open up here for Score, their all-star jungler, with a pushing lane. Smithy is going to use the blast cone and jump over. He's seen the ward, he knows he's there.
All right, so Smithy definitely going to spot out Score. Score is not completely back because Mata's coming up to support him. Sticking around on the Sentinel. But Smithy realizing now he's in a numbers disadvantage, and Score with the first successful invade. Kobe, we were talking before this game about how Score's style benefits KT Rolster, and this is just a crystal clear example of how he intends to play the rest of the game.
Yeah, junglers across the world love watching Score get to work. One of the things that you can notice within his jungle paths is that he'll oftentimes quickly identify what the next goal of his opponent would be and get his team to also set up so that he can deny those goals. As you can see now, he has a mark on the top side. He's just got a quick glimpse, I think, of Smithy here, who is still level 2 and only the red buff on Gragas. So full control already taken by Score off of their winning bottom lane that he used to go for that invade, and he will get both Scuttle Crabs on Kindred, one of the most snowbally jungle champions that we have in the game, already with 1 stack.
Both Scuttles denied a blue, got nearly a full clear on his side as well, so this is a great start for KT Rolster. Combine that with the fact that Doublelift had to blow his flash early on in the game, and it's just a great start for the LCK representatives.
So Team Liquid now, they need to focus on trying to stem the bleeding here. They've already got a CS deficit in bottom lane due to the big health chunk that they were afforded by Doublelift moving close to the brush. They're utilizing that extremely well here too. No recall there taken by Doublelift. They're going to keep him in lane. But Team Liquid, they need to play off of a fairly defensive mindset right now, considering Kindred here, Score already level 4, and he will look to continue to control the neutral areas.
All right, let's keep our eyes on decision making. Of course, bottom lane, a lot of action happening around there as well as blue. We caught a quick glimpse of Pobelter and Ucal just going toe to toe, as well as Impact placing that ward. Ucal, the youngest player of Worlds 2018, definitely one of the stars to keep an eye on, and looking to see whether or not nerves get to this guy, because everybody else in this roster is so experienced and has years of games and pressure under their belt. But Ucal, this is now his first game at World Championship.
Yeah, Ucal, one of those guys that they talked a lot about in solo queue, a lot of hype behind him as far as very quick mechanics, and you know, trying to raise him on the LCK stage has gone very well for KT Rolster. As we were kind of saying before, most League of Legends pros dream of raising the Summoner's Cup, but KT Rolster was a team designed to do it. Smithy's on the bottom side.
Oh, very good flash off to the body slam.
Oh, he got
and
it!
the knockup connects. Death goes down. First blood, Ole.
And X-Smithy, no stranger to the world stage himself, a veteran jungler, untiltable, makes his way to the bottom side on Gragas and uses the flash there to guarantee that they get the kill. But could there be an answer?
All right, there's no flash on Doublelift. He's got around 300 hit points. There's the flash to play. Knockup used onto Mata. Teleport coming down. Mata's still a focus. Manages to go down. Doublelift gets a second kill of World's Group for Team Liquid. Score's now being dived underneath the tower. Pobalt is backing away after aggro. And KT Rolster lose 2 in the bot lane.
Team Liquid with a huge power play here. Now, look what it cost them. It did take a large chunk of Pobelter's health, and he is going to lose out on a cannon minion wave in mid lane, having used his teleport. But look how worth it will be. Smithy starts it all off. He goes in there with the Predator, cuts off the escape path from Def, and Def does not get a mouse click in between that large champion. Oh, never mind, top side.
All right, gotta quickly jump up to the top. Passive popped there on the side of Smeb. Here comes Ucal. Takes down Impact. Smeb survives. And also interesting, just tiny note, Mata's not using Samsung White Thresh.
Well, probably a good one after that, as they both died bottom. But look, that was the answer from KT Rolster. The repercussions of your top laner, or your mid laner, teleporting down to the bottom side and spending an extra resource there to protect Team Liquid's win condition of Doublelift does cost Impact his life, because he doesn't back off, as they know that the mid lane then has priority for KT Rolster and Ucal to roam up to the top side.
Now, Ucal is now 50 CS to 38, and here's a replay of the initial fight that then allowed Ucal to get the kill.
And this could go 2 ways. You can say, hey, the team didn't communicate very well to Impact, or it's just on Impact taking that fight. But if your mid laner just went bottom and everybody else on your team is recalling, as the Urgot, you cannot take that fight in the middle of the top lane, knowing that there's a possibility of the enemy mid laner showing up in your lane, as he did, and getting that kill for himself. Now there's a Syndra with a kill and a giant CS lead to worry about in the mid lane.
Already in a matchup that was fairly favored, early on. This is a good sign. Gold is still bang on even, and Team Liquid is a very good play out of Xmithy, showing they've got some moves early on. I want to quickly talk about that top lane matchup, Smeb versus Impact. We talked about some of the mismatch, Impact being that tank player in air quotes, and Smeb being somebody that you sort of expect to throw down some of these carries. But if we look at some of the stats and the CSD differences, Smeb +8, Impact -6, kill participation still fairly high for Impact, hence the tank player, etc. But break down the matchup for me a little more.
Yeah, I mean, those stats all come from the regular season here for these guys. And Smith, as you're saying, this is the type of player who can play very damage-heavy champions for the team, and KT Rolster has played that way, whereas Impact, now, in the present game, he's on Urgot, and we've seen already how strong of a lane phase Urgot can have, in Impact playing it well up there into the Aatrox. That one's usually going about 50-50, as we're seeing here. So bottom side, though, is going to be the attention. Score has moved down with UCal, and they're looking at the Team Liquid bottom lane.
Oh, thank you so much for the vision toggle observers. It just builds the tension. Team Liquid, they had that control ward in the Tribush, which has since been replaced, and you can see KT Rolster pushing all of that Riverside vision. That's a flash forward from UCal onto Pobelter, manages to get the stun. Here comes Score as well. Pobelter starts to channel around Warp, drops down, gets out, but the burn is not enough. Pobelter with the fancy feet.
He's able to chug his potion. Time Warp Tonic with the corrupting potion keeps him alive, but on the top side, will Impact have the same luck?
Oh, let's find out. Impact has already used the ulti, and Smeb was trying to chase Impact, realizing he can't win that fight. Team Liquid, they fend off the aggressive play.
You can see how much damage came out of that Syndra ultimate with the kill. Got the Sorcerer's Boots for himself and the extra early magic penetration. UCal also, you want to ult first, so there are a lot of orbs on the ground, then you get an AoE stun, shooting all of those out, so Pobelter couldn't dodge a stun, but he was able to realm warp himself out with some fancy footwork afterwards. Smithy onto the bottom side does find himself on a ward.
All right, manages to sidestep the hook, or the prediction missed, matter of opinion. Doublelift's going to get some alone time on this bottom turret. Picked himself up that pickaxe after the kill secured earlier, still down around 13 CS, and into depth with double longswords and BF. It's going to be a challenge, but here's a replay of Pobelter's escape.
Also, I like the beginning of this replay because we just showed multiple control wards in the river that allow them to make this rotation. There's the stun that we talked about. Then Pobelter runs out, dodges that Q, back into the Realm Warp, and because he was chugging the potion the entire time, does survive. During the replay, Team Liquid, though, clearing out those control wards that we mentioned, setting up the dragon and taking Ocean.
I absolutely love hearing the crowd in Busan. The gasps of terror slash fear slash excitement at Pobelter's escape because of the play, the pressure that Smithy was able to exert down the bottom lane. Team Liquid pick up the first dragon of the game. It is Ocean. We're still in a fairly healthy laning phase, so the value of that dragon is going to be very useful for the Team Liquid squad that is now roughly 1,000 gold down.
Yeah, this has been such an interesting lane phase here because of the early commitment of Pobelter to the bottom side, and because of the face check that started it all off with a health deficit for Team Liquid. They are behind a lot in CS throughout this map, and that's what's giving KT Rolster the gold lead, even though Team Liquid have the extra kill and they have been able to get the dragon.
All right, so Kobe, let's look forward into the future, the next 10 or 15 minutes. Well, let's hold that thought as Mata's going to come up to clear this control ward.
Yeah, these are world-class players, Trevor. You don't get to look 10, 15 minutes in the future. You got to keep your eye on the ball.
I am trying to, but I want to know where the ball will be. That's my expectation. Yeah, Mata, the rest of KT, they're going fishing. They're looking for some targets. Ole got himself that splash available and dancing on the edge of safety there, but no engage yet from KT. So what do KT want to do to unlock? Obviously this Aatrox, Syndra, Xayah, they're going to come into their own just a little bit earlier than some of the Team Liquid options.
They do have quite a few options. I think a lot of them do center around trying to continue to deny the Team Liquid bottom lane as much as they can. That was the early game plan. You know, they were able to get off the health lead, and then they also had Score Visit early on. However, it's going to be about burst damage coming from UCal on his next purchase. I don't believe that he is... Oh, actually, he did. He was able to get his tome in, so he has a little bit of extra oomph for it as well. Pobelter, you can see, he was forced to get some early magic resistance in those Mercury treads to try and avoid that kill potential from the possibility of ultimates coming through. And you can see that Smithy... Smithy here has done a good job playing defense for the bottom lane of Team Liquid. As we said, they almost always want to play around double lift, get the Kai'Sa that much more fed so their team fighting can take over. In the course of the North American LCS in the regular season, over 40% of Team Liquid's kills came from team fights alone. They want to be able to get double lift powerful so they can group up and fight 5-5.
Well, so far Team Liquid have done all right to get to that point. You know, Smithy, as you mentioned, fending off the invade, double scuttles for Score early. Doublelift lost his flash early. It hasn't cost him too much. The only person who's struggling a tiny bit is Pobelter at that -20 CS, but you've seen how many times KT Rolster have sent members to that mid lane. Now, there are some potential shenanigans on the horizon as Smeb looked like there was some members of Team Liquid closing in. But as of yet, KT, they are looking for opportunities. They are looking for ways to jump onto Team Liquid, and Team Liquid are not providing them yet.
All right, on the top side though, Impact might provide.
Yes, he will. That's the flash already used by Impact. I was waiting for those chains to come down from Smeb, and with Score in the wings, rinse and repeat in a few minutes, maybe that'll be a dead over.
It's very important information though. That's why we're saying you have to keep your eye on the ball every second in these games. Score being top lets Team Liquid know that they could have an extra person on the bottom side, but they're chafed off by Deft and Mata early on. Maybe they'll rotate over to the turret to try and get some early damage here. First turret gold bonus is still available in a very big objective.
And keep an eye on your minimap. UCal and Score made their way down from the middle lane. This is a 3 versus 4 at best. Impact has not got his teleport available because he just returned to lane. The moment that red buff was spotted, that the steal was on the cards, KT instantly moved Score and UCal down into their jungle, but Team Liquid doing a good job. They've still pushed that vision deep into the bottom quadrant of the minimap, and Robalta once again in trouble. Scatter of the Week comes down, as well as that unleashed power for an easy solo kill to UCal.
Yeah, Pobelter's Merc Tread's not enough magic resistance for him to survive this time around, and UCal is starting to rack them up. 2 kills on this Syndra now. The burst damage is going to be very big, and he will be aiming for double lift or Olay later in the game. One of the things about Syndra is that she can be a very big counter to Rakan once you do get to those later stages. Look at that very nice stun there for UCal though. He didn't have to use his ultimate early to start it off, and then he had 2 orbs already on the ground. So it's great that he was able to add the extra damage for the kill with his ultimate coming through. Pobelter though, after that, is able to purchase and get back out onto the field.
Well, with the exception of Pobelter, almost everybody's got their first sort of big ticket item completed. Black Cleavers for your top laners, your jungle items for Score and Xmithy. Of course, we've got the Storm Razors and Rageblade picked up for double lift. Impact is jumped in here by Smith, gets pulled backwards by the Infernal Chains, but there's support from Xmithy to back him up.
And look at that, just that back up here from Smeb, not over chasing, not tunneling, because there was Smithy and Pobelter roaming up to help Impact. He doesn't overcommit. He already won the trade and doesn't want to chase too far and give away anything there for KT Rolster. But I like what you're doing here and picking up the possibility of bigger skirmishes now. So we should probably set up how some of these can take place, because the dragon is on its way, and it's about to occur here, actually.
Oh, let's take a look at this. Storm Mata going to clear out the control ward. 10 seconds until Infernal Drake, and look at the positioning. Pobelter and Xmithy are nearby, but they're somewhat split from Double Lift and Olay.
All right, so some big players you want to keep your eyes on from Team Liquid side are going to be Xmithy and Olay. Both of these players have their flashes available and have explosive engaged champions. However, as we mentioned before, Syndra with the long stun and the AoE knockback and burst damage can be a big counter to either of those. Infernal's been started out, and they're going to go for it.
All right, Pobelter's north of the fight. Mata's coming in from the south. Team Liquid now seem to be somewhat grouped up.
Score's going to go for it.
Already being channeled by Smith. Team Liquid get the Infernal. Death Sentence manages to catch onto Olay. He's stuck inside the box. UCal takes him down for the killing spree, and now Score stays alive thanks to Lamb's Respite. Impact is in so much trouble, caught inside the pit, but they trade 1 for 1, and Team Liquid get the dragon.
2 kills here. Go over to the side of KT Rolster so they get more gold and more map pressure. So we have to see what will the ramifications be as far as the map play. But Team Liquid very happy to secure that Infernal Drake for themselves for later. It looks like the map play is going to be focused on bottom and mid, and the turrets will go down.
Oh, Pobelter's got flash available to him, and will find himself now conceding the first tower. That's already a 2,500 gold lead to KT. The bottom tower has also been hammered away on. That's 50% down. KT, they are in control of the game. If you catch a glimpse of the replay.
Yeah, let's take another look at this one, because it's very close, and it seems like a bit of a split call from Team Liquid, whereas KT were pretty clear as far as being on the same page, going all in for the fight. Team Liquid split between retreat and going for the kill. Impact, having gone in there, he is Urgot, so he's able to time his ultimate very, very effectively and closely there with the Kindred ultimate to secure his counter kill as he goes down, allowing Team Liquid to get one for themselves. Now this extra turret going down for them does keep the gold relatively close with having the added advantage of the dragons, but KT Rolster are already threatening to take this lead and push it further. Bottom tower's low and Rift Herald's already going down.
Yeah, and if you look at the minimap, you can see Impact in that top lane. His tower's going very low as well. Kobe, we saw the stats at 15 minutes. KT Rolster had a lead of around 650 gold. It's around about the same value they had in the LCK. And when KT have a lead of 15 minutes, they are 27 wins and 4 losses. This is not a team that concedes an advantage very frequently. They've been able to extend that. However, Team Liquid have got a lot of scaling on their side, and they're still competitive. Down 1,500. They've got 2 dragons for some late game insurance, and they're definitely putting up a fight against KT Rolster.
KT Rolster, they have a very strong set of utility picks available to themselves. So even though they don't have a pure tank, Aatrox with the ultimate, as well as Kindred with their ultimate, are able to buy a lot of time in team fights if there's good positioning. Smithy, though, he won't have any time!
At that damage, he is going to survive a lot longer than I expected. Eventually, Mukala gets involved, doesn't get the assist, though, and that's just a free kill secured to KT Rolster.
And one of the other things, Ole actually is going to get cornered here. Will he be okay? Puts down his control ward and is going to be able to tell Doublelift to pull off his recall. So one of the other things in evaluating who was the winner of one of these team fights, like that dragon fight, is what sort of vision was left behind afterwards. Because KT Rolster had the extra member, because they were the ones to get the run of the map for those next 20 seconds while Team Liquid are dead, they also left behind a bunch of wards in the Team Liquid jungle. Very deep there, allowing them to get that pick onto Smithy much further down the line. So a little bit of a domino effect. As they find that kill, they found another turret for themselves, and the gold lead increases.
And you can see the moment the bottom outer turret is secured, KT Rolster send their duo towards the top. Deft is already recalled, picked himself up that rapid fire cannon to complement the Storm Razor, and that bottom turret, top lane turret rather, for Team Liquid is very low on hit points, as Impact is doing what he can to continue to farm up to become this monster of a bruiser in Earth.
And the next steps are already showing themselves. Team Liquid trying to clear out the deep vision that KT Rolster have already placed, but with their last outer turret about to go down, as you alluded to here on the top side, the map is about to get much more scary for them, and they're going to have to be reactive to KT Rolster's lane assignment, which makes the game fairly difficult to play when you're facing this much damage on the opponent team. So now it's going to be about how quickly can Team Liquid react to these KT Rolster moves, and will they be able to transition successfully? Because KT Rolster are the best in the business about pushing these ahead and closing the map in on the enemy team so that there are few options for them to do in the mid game.
Oh, and you can see already Def just getting in the face of Impact, throwing out those feathers. The majority of KT Rolster were making their way towards the top half of the map. They littered a number of control wards in the river in front of Baron. And they haven't ventured into the Team Liquid jungle just yet, but Def will deny as many CS as he can before he backs away. Impact finds himself down 30 against his opposite number. Cobalt has been able to pick up some, still down 10. And that is plus the towers, leading to KT Rolster having this 3,000 gold lead at 21 minutes.
Yeah, as you can see, Team Liquid have transferred into a 1-3-1 here, which is very classic when you have a Rise as your mid laner. They send Belter to the bottom lane because this champion is very mobile and can clear the waves very quickly, while they transition Doublelift and Ole to the mid lane to put more of that mid game farm into their late game carry of the Kai'Sa. As you said though, this is KT Rolster in the driver's seat. They're the ones with the 3-0 Syndra here with incredible burst potential, and multiple people on Team Liquid have to respect this champion and have to watch out for those long-range stuns. That could be the end of any one of these players, as we say, they're walking through
I saw you hold your breath there, like Pobelter. What is he doing?
Close enough, but you can see Team Liquid are all grouping up because the Dragon is on the way.
It's another Infernal Drake. Team Liquid are grouped. Teleport is just available for Smeb in a moment or two, and the Infernal Dragon will be another point of contention.
You can see KT Rolster are using their advantage right now to push up the top lane, get the minions moving, and try and delay Team Liquid in starting up this objective. All those minions will be their advantage. Teleport comes in, they're gonna fight!
All right, Infernal Dragon's going incredibly low. Picked up by Team Liquid, that's the second of the game. Xmoothie gets chunked down. Let somebody heal, keeps him alive a few seconds longer. Long range death sentence connects up to Impact, and look at the lantern. It brings KT Rolster all the way to Team Liquid. Pobelter's running for his life. KT Rolster get 3 kills, but lose a Dragon.
That's gonna be the Baron! They don't care about dragons, they're getting the kills here! Then that was 3 members of Team Liquid that go down for the Infernal Drake. KT Rolster with a Baron buff won't leave any of these outer towers standing. Now they move incredibly quickly right over to the objective, and they should be able to secure it.
And it all starts with forcing Team Liquid's hand, shoving that wave top, shoving that wave middle. Team Liquid opted into the Infernal Drake. Yes, they got that objective, but they've lost the fight, and more importantly, they've lost Baron Nashor.
Name of the game for Team Liquid now is defense. It's all about their defense. Can they withstand a Baron power play from a KT Rolster squad that is up 5,000 gold at the moment? Doublet's trying to squeeze a couple more CS out of the recall timers here before they have to reset.
And of course, this Baron play is brought to you by Ace of Her.
All right, so there you go. You can see, yeah, Smithy, he once again lands the smite, gets the objective for his team, but he goes down for it, as well as Ole trying to protect him, and Mata lands the thresh hook, lassos Impact to secure a 3rd kill for KT Rolster in payment for that Dragon. If Team Liquid could have gotten away with just 1 member dying for that Infernal Drake, then they probably could have threatened to stop any sort of counter there from KT, but 3 members going down guarantees this power play for KT Rolster. And with a level 16 now on that Fed Syndric quick shot, this is going to be an insane ultimate. 5 kills, he might just be able to press R on someone.
5-0-2, the gameplay button in that Unleashed Power ultimate will just obliterate anybody on Team Liquid. 5 kills to UCal, it's a 5,000 gold lead to KT Rolster. They've got Baron for another 2 minutes. And this is sort of what I was expecting from this team composition from KT Rolster. Team Liquid, they need a lot more time to get the scaling in their favor and to circumvent the deficit they find themselves in.
Exactly. The hope for Team Liquid is to try and defend this Baron buff with as few losses as possible, because they do have great scaling for themselves, especially with the 2 Infernals added on. They're actually going offensive on Smeb here.
All right, take a look. Killer Instinct goes in. Smeb should just get run down here, and Fear Beyond Death will pop the passive. But look at the mini-map. There's pressure in the top lane. KT Rolster will be able to push onto the inhibitor turret. They will secure this shortly.
Yeah, Smeb goes down, but Team Liquid are going to lose an inhibitor turret here. Recalls go off, but KT Rolster are able to exit afterwards.
KT Rolster going to take another tower in the mid lane inner. That's 6 towers secured already. Now 8 kills to 4, and the map absolutely belongs to KT Rolster. Yes, they conceded 1 kill, but they're getting the important objectives, and that matters much more when you're looking towards the Nexus kill.
Yeah, KT Rolster looking to take down as many turrets as possible while they do have the buff. It was a good little counterpunch there from Team Liquid to get a kill back from themselves. But again, yeah, so much on the top side of the map has been opened up, and you can see how deep the KT Rolster vision does go. They left a bunch of control wards up in the top red quadrant of Team Liquid's jungle to allow them to confine Team Liquid to a much smaller area once again and limit the resources that can come in.
Of course, if Team Liquid can protect this inhibitor, they have survived the Baron. Yes, they are in a fairly monumental deficit, but they do still have some very, very good picks on their side. And when you look at a Gragas, when you look at a Rakan, the pick potential when you combo with Realm Warp as well as double as Killer Instinct, there are outplay potential. We've seen it time and time again from these specific champions.
There is a lot of skill difference here between Gragas and Rakan. A lot of explosive possibilities for champions like this, where you can get an explosive engage, catch people off guard. And the next 8 minutes of this game are going to be extremely telling. Either KT Rolster are able to push it ahead, and they're going to close in on Team Liquid and be able to finish it out, or Team Liquid will be able to defend, survive until double lift on the Kaisa. We'll be able to take over some team fights, and they can 5v5 more properly. A lot of that is going to depend on clearing out enemy vision. And as you can see here with the vision toggle, Team Liquid have been able to sort of carve out some defensive areas for themselves. KT Rolster, though, grouping up on bottom side, looking to get the last outer.
Problem is, there's a lot of gaps in that vision.
There is.
Mata was sitting in the middle of Team Liquid's jungle, and there was no vision to spot him out. Death Sentence goes out, doesn't find a target, but the tower will fall.
So Team Liquid are making a trade here. This is the last trade that they can make without giving up another inhibitor turret. They take an outer turret with Rise split push from Pobelter, while KT Rolster get the last outer. And that is some more gold for Team Liquid to try and scale up with. They're actually committing, and Pobelter continuing the split push while they hold him off.
Yeah, Pobelter still got that summoner teleport in his back pocket if he was needed to join for a fight. There's only a Cloud Drake to contest, so if you're in Team Liquid's shoes, you could decide to get rid of that one. And Smeb, does he go left or does he go right? Decides to go left. That means he will not find and catch out Pobelter. And Smeb didn't have his teleport available. A few seconds of cooldown left for that one. So Team Liquid, they have just about survived that Baron power play. The next one is up in 2 minutes time, and it looks like they will concede this dragon if KT rush it, but they're not going for it just yet.
Well, already Team Liquid moving into some dangerous area here. Once again, you can see how many pockets of the Fog of War are available, and any of those could contain KT members because they don't see any on the map. They should assume that they're taking the dragon, but you have to be very scared when there are champions that can pick you off. A Thresh and a Syndra are prime champions to pick off kills on anyone looking to face check Rush. Long range stun from Syndra, long range hook from Thresh, and they'll be able to last you from there.
Such an exciting start for UCal here in the World Championships. We mentioned it a few moments ago, 5-0-2. Because of this Syndra performance as we get to 30 minutes, Double's third item is a Banshee's Veil. He needs to get some MR, needs to try and mitigate at least one of those spells ever so slightly. And of course, fortunately, he's on a champion where it still benefits the kids.
And I do like Banshee's Veil as a purchase for AP Kaisa builds. Yes, the Zhonya's is extremely popular, and it can allow you to buy some time in a team fight if there is a valuable composition around you for a reset. But Banshees can deny one of those insta-kill long-range stuns or CCs that we talked about if he's got it available, and one of those comes out from a brush or from a Fog of War, then it can deny that for them. We'll see, though, because a couple of more key items coming through, and it looks like KT Rolster moving out to the Baron to set up 25 seconds on the spawn.
Pobelter's in a little bit of trouble as Score and UCal chase him down, although the damage he got into Score was significant. Score still very squishy, unless he's got Smeb or Mata around to distract. Baron priority and control is still with KT Rolster. You can see the mid lane is pushed towards Team Liquid, and KT shoving top as they re-secure vision in the area.
We're almost at that breaking point. Quick shot. Baron has spawned. KT Rolster have over a 7,000 gold lead and control of Baron with the vision and the champions to make the pick. So this is the scariest time for Team Liquid as they try and fight the vision wars around Baron while also simultaneously trying to keep the side waves in motion for themselves so that KT do not close in on them. Look at the mini-map. You can see there, Smeb is still split pushing on the Aatrox in the bottom lane, but Team Liquid are counter pushing up mid.
Oh, the vision is so nerve-wracking. Smithy's just waiting in the wings, looking for an opportunity as the mid lane tower gets chunked up and not killed. Team Liquid, they're playing with limited information. Keep glancing down the bottom right of the mini-map. They are in a deficit. Their base is open. Baron is being threatened, and KT now being shoved backwards. Here comes Smeb from the side lane. He can throw down those infernal chains. I'm waiting to see if he can catch anybody. It will look like it secures the Impact. Impact is in so much trouble. Smeb goes golden, but Impact is already down. 5 versus 4 for the next few minutes. And Team Liquid simply caught out.
Critical error there. Team Liquid out in the open, and KT Rolster just runs straight through. Smeb on the Aatrox gets a great knockup for them, and that's going to be an inhibitor turret.
Oh, here comes Mata. Goes for the flash death sentence. Will not find the target though. But take a look at Smithy's caught out. He goes golden, caught inside the middle of KT Rolster, but it's Ole that gets blown up and obliterated. Defensive flash from Pobelter. He's trying to escape on the back end, and Pobelter's doing what he can. Look at that double lift, jumps on to Yuka, will not be able to pick up the kill. He's blown up by Def. The next inhibitor is the focus. KT Rolster pick one kill up and turn their attention to the base.
And that is going to be it. KT Rolster now on the Nexus turrets with only 2 members surviving.
Smithy's trying to do what he can, but Def will look to solo up Pobelter. A death sentence helps him out. KT Rolster, ace Team Liquid, take down the Nexus turrets, turn their attention onto Impact for one last time. It looks like they will pad their stats. One additional kill. In just a moment or two as the Infernal Chains pull him backwards. KT Rolster take down Team Liquid for their first win at Worlds 2018.
Great way to start it off for the KT Rolster squad, the team designed to win Worlds. Push it through and take a victory.
KT in control of the game, despite some good moves from Team Liquid early on, specifically Smithy finding that kill in the bottom lane, bouncing back from an early deficit. It just felt like KT were in control. It was tempered, it wasn't rushed, and everything they did, it had ramifications later on in the game.
KT Rolster looking for kills off of the Dragon Secures. They were able to get enough to afford them Baron.
Yeah.
And after that giant